Rocket Lab is #1 competitor of SpaceX, despite using 10 times less capable rocket. And if that wasn't surprising already, Rocket Lab's biggest moneymaker is not even the rocket. How can all that make sense? Stay with me to get the answers. And I will give you the answers in 5 steps. First, I will tell you about the amazing growth of the stock price. Then, how this price was driven by the revenue. Then, how that was influenced by the new moneymaker of Rocket Lab. And then, how all that translates to the future potential of this company and how that translates into the great investment thesis about Rocket Lab. In 2021, Rocket Lab had an IPO at around $10, although it had no profit at that time. Then the price dropped in the years 2022 to 2024. It was hovering more or less around $4. But then something happened. It started growing, and by the beginning of 2026, it reached $100. And the answers for all that growth, even though it has no profit, lie in the changes in the revenue of that company. And the revenue story of Rocket Lab goes more or less like this. In 2020, they had $35 million of revenue. By 2024, they reached $436 million of revenue. And in 2025, the projection was $600 million. We will know exactly in the first quarter of 2026 when the annual report comes out. But overall, this means that in 5 years, they had 1,600% growth in revenue. And it's important to note they do not have clear profit yet. But when they were IPOing, when they were entering the stock market, they were a startup. They entered through a SPAC IPO. And so it is, as they are a startup, it's understood that they have still a runway, some time to make profit. And usually one of the best markers of that promise is what is happening to the revenue. And the revenue is just skyrocketing in those 5 years. And now let me refer to the main question I asked in the title of this video, which is that the rocket itself is not the main moneymaker. And it is very nicely visible in the revenue structure of Rocket Lab in 2024, where 30% of revenue came from space flights, which means Electron rocket was sending stuff into space for money. But 70% of Rocket Lab's revenue was in space systems, which in simple term means the satellites prepared for clients that were on top of those rockets. At some point, they decided that not only they want to send satellites to space, they want to build those satellites and operate them. And so they bought best companies to make parts for them, like Sol Aero for solar power, Sinclair for satellite hardware, Geost for advanced sensors. And I can't stress enough why this part of the word, not just build but also operate, is important. Because this means that Rocket Lab is offering a one-stop shop for any company that wants to do something with space in space. So for some companies who might use Rocket Lab services, it practically means that not only they're going to send that Rocket Lab is going to send this stuff, Rocket Lab is going to build this stuff, Rocket Lab is going to maintain and run this stuff. Imagine if somebody had a telecom company and this telecom company could have a vendor which does all the cell towers, who runs the cell towers, services them, and on top of it also does possibly even billing of that for the final customers. And the telecom carrier only has to do marketing and maybe the shops where the clients come to buy the phones. Yeah. Or an example with a car rental company. Imagine you have a car rental company and you just have to do marketing, website, and money transfers, while you have a vendor which brings the cars, runs the cars, services the cars, has points of pickup and delivery of the cars, and you just do the marketing. So Rocket Lab is this kind of a one-stop super vendor for companies who need space. So Rocket Lab is positioning itself as a company who can deliver the whole infrastructure to any corporation who needs to even touch space, or at least, touch space. And so I said that the projection for revenue in 2025 of Rocket Lab was 600 million, and they most probably will achieve it. But what is even more interesting, that the whole company revenue pipeline, so to speak, the awaiting orders, is $1.1 billion. So even double the 2025 projection, because it's above $1 billion. And in that whole amount of money, the space systems have much bigger margins because they have 37% gross margin on space systems. And if that wasn't enough of some good news, on one hand, showing they have a lot of revenue ahead of them, and showing that space systems is this kind of a new leg of money making, which is even more profitable, in 2025, they had 21 launches with their Electron rocket, which is the biggest number of so-called small payload rocket launches, which is a certain category. And they did it with Electron, a small payload rocket, but they will soon have, it's always the question how soon, but hopefully 2026, they will have a bigger rocket, which is neutron rocket for mid-sized payloads, which means that the space system leg can be sending even bigger and more satellites, which means even more profit for them. And when it comes to space launches alone, Rocket Lab has been a number 2 competitor number 2 company in the market of space launches in the USA, and they have been doing it with a smaller rocket, while SpaceX mostly does mid-size and large-size launches, payloads. So it's kind of like a no-brainer that if Rocket Lab is already number 2, having less, what can they do once they have better tools with the bigger neutron rocket? And to drive my point even further as to why this is all such good news, let me tell you something about the launch sector, not the space systems, which is satellites, but the launch sector itself. So, in that subsector, there are smaller margins. There's far higher volatility because the launch will fail. There's weather that can stop the launch even if there's no explosions. However, at the same time, once you can be doing launches and also make money on the space system, the satellites, you not only take money for building the satellites, you also make money on operating them and running them. It's kind of like the subscription model for space. It's like Netflix is the most profitable streamer, or streaming is the most profitable way how to make long-term money on content. And operating systems for regular money in space is the subscription model for space, and Rocket Lab is cracking it, which means that their best money-making opportunities are ahead of them, while their best rocket is still also ahead of them. With all that said, my investment thesis for Rocket Lab, for all of you out there, is that investing in Rocket Lab currently is similar to investing in NVIDIA around the year 2019-2020, which means that you are buying into a corporation which has proven to have a product which is highly in demand, and at the same time, the best market developments are yet ahead of them. And now over to you. Let me know in the comments what you agree with or disagree with in my video. And of course, like and subscribe, Rocket Lab fans, because more videos are coming.